I was on the phone with my son Danny when I heard the most ridiculous thing that's ever happened in my life. He was 23, a college sophomore who'd somehow found a part-time gig at a local pizza joint, and he was about to get blasted for not showing up to work. I swear, the audacity of it all. He'd already let the manager know that he'd arranged for a buddy to cover his shift, and the next thing I heard was the general manager, Sam, telling Danny that his replacement had just been terminated for undisclosed reasons. Sam was like, "You're not coming in. Either show up or never come back." And then, boom, Danny's birthday was gone. That's how the hook of this story begins. I'm a retired public servant, a Gen X woman who spent 30 years in a government office. Seen a lot of management blunders, but none of them hit so hard. I've written papers in graduate school arguing that millennials and Gen Z are being slammed by a system that's built on outdated leadership models. So, when my son decided to ditch the pizza place and join a group of friends who were all talking about anti-work, I was genuinely proud. I wanted him to see how real it could be to say no to the grind. I never imagined the same system would come back to bite us like a toddler who's had their finger on a toy and suddenly realizes they're not allowed to hold it anymore. The context is that Danny had been working there for a few months. The place was kind of like a mini family. The boss was an old college buddy of his dad, so Danny felt he'd got a chance to do a decent job. He's not a bad worker, he's punctual, he's friendly, he's the kind of guy who'll double-check the oven temperature. He even had a crush on the shift manager, Jenna. I'd sent him a text saying, "Hey, if you're good at this, maybe we should talk about a higher pay gig later." That's why he seemed so comfortable about the pizza place. He was thinking of this as a stepping stone. He also had a group chat with his friends where they joke about how much they'd love to quit if they could get paid for not coming in. In my world, that was a joke, but in his world, it felt like a manifesto. The night before his birthday, I had booked us a table at his favorite restaurant, one that's known for its wood-fire pizza and an ambience that screams college party. I told him, go on a date with a pizza place. He called me and said he just asked Jenna to cover his shift, so all was good. He also told me, "I'll let Sam know if anything changes." I was like, "Sure, sweetie." I texted back, "Sure, I'll be there. Let me know." I was thinking this will be a great story about how Gen Z will always push back against the system. The call was abrupt. Sam's voice was cold. "Danny, we're short-staffed tonight. We can't do any more shifts." Danny hung up, his face suddenly pale. He called me back. "Mom, what's going on?" "I told you I'd covered my shift. I'm not going to miss my birthday dinner." I said, "What?" "Sam, you're mad, right? He's telling us you're not coming in? Why?" I can hear Sam's voice in my head now. "If you aren't here for your shift, then don't come in ever." It's the classic no ifs, no buts that's been drilled into every employee since the 1970s. I was in disbelief. I had a kid who believed in fighting the system. He was telling me that another employee got fired and then was told the next shift wasn't his. The timing was insane. He didn't even need to say it. And this was his birthday, and we had a reservation at a fancy pizza place. That's how my brain started to turn. I grabbed my phone and sent a text to Sam. "I can't believe you're telling us this." He responded, "I'm not talking to you." That's how the incident starts to feel like an attack on our family's trust. The main event is the dinner. We arrive at the restaurant, a dimly lit place with neon signs, the smell of oregano in the air. I can see the disappointment in Danny's eyes. We sit at a corner table. He orders the truffle pizza. The waiter brings the dessert. He says, "You look happy, Mom, but I don't know if I can celebrate." I can hear the quiet roar of his frustration. The manager, Sam, is on the other end of the phone, his voice in a whisper. "You know what? If you don't come in tonight, I'm telling you this, never again." Sam had never even had to say this to anyone. He's basically saying, if you're not on your shift, you're out forever. The audacity. I told Danny to just enjoy his birthday, and I promised him we could talk after dinner. But I couldn't stay quiet. I could feel my blood pressure rise. I was thinking, this is what we fought against. I looked at my phone and saw text from Sam. "Danny, you're fired. You're not coming tonight. I don't know how you're doing. I had no idea what would happen next." Text flooded the group chat. Danny was silent. His phone was on Do Not Disturb. He posted a meme of a person saying, "Who's this guy? The one who can't handle a shift?" To the family group chat. His friends all responded, "That's the boss, the one who's been acting like a jerk." I read each one, could hear the frustration, the anger, the resentment. My heart sank. The system that had taken a part-time job for me and turned it into a nightmare for my son had just taken a bite out of our family. The fallout is what happened when we all realized that Sam had no rights over our life. We started to question why we even had to go to work. I started thinking, why are we paying for this? The pizza place is not a job, it's a service. It pays a decent wage. But the manager, Sam, is treating us as if we're a commodity. He's saying, "I'll fire you for showing up to work." The system has no moral compass. The people in the system were all wearing the same suit and saying the same thing. I was feeling this is the ultimate betrayal. I called Danny back. I know this is hard, but you have to know we're not going to let this bring us down. He says, I'm not sure I want to work for a place that can fire me for covering someone else. He was looking at me like I just told him he was a bad employee. He said, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be a part of the system that does this to people. I said, I didn't want you to be a part of this system either. I thought we were doing something better. Danny said, but I didn't get that system. I just wanted to work. I just wanted a good day at the restaurant. Instead, they're firing people and we're all getting hurt. I don't see the point. It was the moment I realized that our story had turned into a larger story. Our family was being the voice of the many who felt the system was broken. It became a story about the corporate world's obsession with profit over people. It was also a story about how young people like Danny are trying to figure out their place in the world while dealing with a system that is constantly shifting. The group chat erupted. Is anyone else going to fire? Is anyone else going to lose their shift? The group chat had turned into a community. We were all hearing the same thing. I thought, this is the story we want to share. This is what we need to talk about. Then I started to think about the big question. Who is the real antagonist here? Sam, the corporate system, or the entire system that lets someone be fired for covering a shift? I started feeling that the real villain is not a single person, but the system that allows it. The system is the big problem. My son was a victim, but he was also part of a system that is broken. After that, we went to the local pizza place. I told Danny that the best thing to do is to file a complaint. We should talk to HR. HR in the pizza place is a person named Rachel. She works the front desk and she's a good person. We had a conversation about how the boss used the "if you're not there, you're out" policy to fire a worker. I think that was a good idea because it was a big problem. Then we wrote a letter to the local media. We called the local news station and they were interested. We called an HR organization. They all said, we need to get to the bottom of this. The public verdict came when the local news station interviewed us. Sam, who was the general manager, tried to defend himself, but he was no match for the facts. He said, we can't do anything about it because the system is broken. Rachel and HR said, the system is broken because we're not having a fair shift management system. Sam was the boss. He was the only one who had the right to do this. Sam said, I don't know if we can keep working for a place where we can lose a shift because of the system. This is what we're all feeling right now. And his friends, their coworkers, and HR all felt a sense of victory. We were able to talk to the community. It was a big step to be a part of the community. The community is a big part of our story. We felt we were part of a bigger group of people who all want to do something that can get us out of this system. The resolution is that we decided to keep the story going. We realized we are in this together. We're not alone. We're going to keep fighting. We're going to keep saying that the system is broken, that the system is not good, and that the system has to do better. My son was not only a victim, he was also a voice that could speak for people. I didn't realize how many other people would also say that we had to do something better. I was the one who wrote a research paper on this, and now I am the one who is writing a blog about it. I think the story is about the system, the workers, and the community. We had a great conversation with a friend who's a lawyer, and they said we need to talk to the local government. The pizza place is a local business. The manager, Sam, is not a real boss. We could talk to the union. Then we decided to keep the group chat open. We are all still reading the group chat. Can we still work? Are we going to be fired? Who's going to let us do that? This is a huge problem. That is the end of the story. I want to close this story with the message that if we are going to change the world, it has to start with the system. The system that is built around people as a commodity. The system that is built around corporate values. If we want to be a part of that system or not, it's up to us. We can be part of the solution or the problem, and I think we're on the side of the solution. We're a family. We're a team. We're not going to let this break us. We're going to keep talking. We're going to keep sharing our story. We're going to keep fighting the system that treats people as disposable assets. I know this is a long story, but I'm proud of my son for fighting back. I've learned that the system can be broken. The system can be fixed. We just need to keep talking and keep showing that there are people out there who care. That's the story that I want to tell. In the end, it's not just Sam or the pizza place, it's a story about how we, as a family, learn to fight the system together. And that's the big takeaway. The system might have started it, but we're the ones who keep the ball rolling. We're the ones who are in the fight. This is why the story matters. We're not just a small anecdote. We're part of a larger conversation about the future of work. This is my call to all young people who think the system is broken and want to fight it. Don't let them fire you for covering a shift. Let's keep this story alive. Let's keep fighting, and let's keep telling the world that the system is broken. That's my conclusion, and I hope it resonates with anyone else who's felt the same. And I hope it also inspires your children to keep fighting against the system. That's my message. And with that, I'm closing the story. The big question remains, is it time to change the system, or are we just waiting for it to change? My guess is that we're all part of the bigger story. That's all I can say. The story is a big reminder that we are not alone. We are in this together. The system can't control us. It can't break us. It might still do a lot of damage, but we'll be stronger because we're part of this conversation. The next step? Keep talking, keep fighting, keep sharing the story of a pizza place that turned a sauna birthday into a lesson about why we have to never give in. And that's how the story ends.
Found this interesting? Subscribe to the channel. Give this video a like, share it out, and drop your questions or ideas in the comments. Until our next adventure.